How many people here are from the great state of Alabama? Whoa. We cannot afford to lose a seat in the very, very close United States Senate. We can't afford it, folks. We can't. So get out and vote for Roy Moore.
I did not get any sleep last night. That's for sure. To organize Democrats in Alabama, you've got to be hard as fuck. Like, that's the bottom line. You got to wake up every day and think, I'm going to lose today, but I'm going to go down kicking and screaming and stabbing and slashing, and tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to lose just a little bit less than I lost today. What I'm doing right here is just prioritizing the precincts by turf that's most important, that we're going to send our volunteers out on today. And I'm going to put these packets together for them, and they'll hit the sidewalks. Hello, hello. Hi. It's great to meet you, Emily. When the allegations broke, it wasn't breaking news to some people. It was, in fact, no news at all. It was just well-known and long overdue. All right, who's going out? Raise your hand one more time. I think the stakes here are we going to put a man in office who record speaks for itself, or are we going to put a man in office who's going to continue to bring shame and negative national attention to Alabama?
Up until about 15 years ago, there wasn't an elected Republican official in Coleman County. They were all Democrats, and the Democrats pretty much ran this state, and now it's completely switched.
What changed?
Obama. Obama wiped out the Democrat Party here in the state of Alabama.
His policies.
His policies, yeah. And but there's a wide difference of opinion between Democrats and Republicans nationwide. We believe in very, very different things.
People are talking a lot about sexual harassment right now, a lot about sexual misconduct right now. People look at these stories and they just don't understand what you are thinking.
So here's a guy that's been a strong public servant who served his country and his nation and his state all his life. And we're going to take the Washington Post's word for it or the New York Times word for it. I don't believe anything in the Washington Post or the New York Times. I'm a Republican, and I'm a Christian, and I'm a conservative.
I'm not very, very political, but what I hear and see, I kind of base it off of that. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You have to set a standard at some point because we as adults are role models and politicians are really a role model.
I don't feel like they should be our role models, but at the same time, they're out there in the light. But I will be voting for Doug Jones because I just feel like he's a better candidate. And I feel like he's going to fight on our behalf. Yeah. That's what I believe.
And not even just for blacks, but as a people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even just talking about
right. Just as a people.
Right.
You have to look at the bigger picture and overall.
I'm gay, so, why would I vote for somebody who said I couldn't get married? I can't be happy because you don't want me to, so I don't feel that.
I have yet to see them say what they gonna do.
We, 47th in education, but number 5 in incarceration?
And that's ridiculous.
And that right there is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
And they constantly shutting down the schools. That don't make sense.
But then you say, oh, we're not racist. No, we're not such and such. Oh, we're not this. But you don't want to sit by us. You don't want to live by us. You don't want us in your schools. You're trying to put us all together. What do you call that?
If we sit up here and be the same complacent Alabama, where people don't get out here and make their voices heard, then we're going to get what we get. We're going to get a bunch of more Roy Moores because they're coming here. As long as they're allowed to do it, then, of course, we ain't got no choice but to sit back and pray and hope they don't come in here and rape my kids tonight. Oh, Lord, don't make me a slave. We can't just sit and wait and think that somebody gonna save us because the rest of America don't give a fuck about us. And they think it's funny that we got pedophiles and shit running for Senate. You know what I'm saying? It's okay with them as long as they get a vote. They don't give a fuck about us. That's what it is.
How many signs do you think you put out here in this county?
Here in the city, I probably got 200, about half of which have been stolen.
Stolen?
Oh, yeah.
Who's stealing them? Democrats.
I don't know why no, you're right. I don't know why any Republican would. The thing that ties Roy and me together more than anything is the same thing that ties all Academy graduates together. And that's just the values and the standards that you were taught, and the fact that most of us had common service in war zones together. When you see it and you share it together, it's a bond that does not break easily.
I was gotta say, I mean, this might be the most laid-back group of people 3 days before a huge election that I've ever seen.
Well, when you're organized, we're okay.
You seem like you're ready to rock and roll. This thing's running along, right?
Well, we're doing the same thing we've done in the past with Judge Moore when he ran for other offices, and he never lost Coleman County yet, so.
Yeah. Now, Roy Moore isn't doing any real campaigning today or tomorrow that we can see on the schedule, really. Does that matter, do you think?
Roy is at the Army-Navy game today to see his son. So that's where he was yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
I mean, it's the final weekend before. Maybe you could skip the game this year?
Family comes before politics with Roy.
Roy Moore wants to get us out of healthcare altogether, and the citizens of this state can afford it. Roy Moore will not even answer the question. Well, hell, he doesn't even answer any questions anymore. I am so happy and honored to have with us tonight Senator Cory Booker.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Montgomery. Thank you, Alabama. Thank you very much. So I'm here to try to help to get some folk woke. Those people that don't understand the opposite of justice is not injustice, it is indifference, it is inaction, and it is silence. All right, here we go. This is gonna be a good one. This is an epic picture.
I have to ask you about a tweet you sent today. I'm going to read it to you. I am in the United States Senate, and I don't want to be next to you wondering if Senate pages will be safe from your advances. Are you concerned that a Senator Roy Moore would make advances on Senate pages?
Absolutely. Why shouldn't I be? This is a guy that has had teenage girls who made sexual advances towards teenage girls, towards a 14-year-old. And it's not just me. There's been former pages, still teenagers, saying this is horrific to think that that person would come.
I once was lost in sin, but Jesus took me in. And then a little light from heaven filled my soul. We know that the world thinks that we're a little bit strange, but if we do not observe the things that God has changed in our life, the world is good at spotting someone that doesn't live what they say they live. I know the good that Judge Roy Moore has done. I have a hard time comparing that to pedophilia. The accusations that have been made to a large portion with no evidence. Why would you do violence against the people you wish to show Christ to? What I have a call to do is go out and say, this is sin. And you know it in your hearts. In order to choose a candidate in this circumstance, you have to choose somebody that's accused of having behaved in an unscriptural, sinful way against somebody that admits to what we conceive as an unscriptural belief. Abortion.
So for you, is being pro-abortion as sinful as potential pedophilia?
Yes. It's murder versus abuse of a child. How do you draw the line there? Both of them are abuse of children.
There is an energy out there that can't be captured by pushing a telephone. We feel great about this election. We feel great about the messages that we've got out, the enthusiasm that we've got. And so we're going to go forward in the next 48 hours, and we're not going to stop.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We're in Mountain Brook, which is a neighborhood outside of the central Birmingham. It's one of the more well-off places in Birmingham. Definitely, mainly white people live in this area. Have you decided who you're voting for yet?
No, I actually haven't.
Oh, well, what issues are you most concerned by or figuring out?
I'm concerned about Jones because of the issues on abortion.
Yeah, I understand that. But actually, abortion is a legal issue and in the judiciary. So if we elect either Moore or Doug Jones, that won't change the abortion laws. And Doug Jones also stands for them as they are right now.
I'd talk to you more, but I'm sick.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't want you to even be around.
Well, can I give you a flyer?
We used to say, thank God for Mississippi. Well, they don't have a Roy Moore. Right after I graduated from high school in 1976, I got a call from a friend who worked at Brooks Fashions in the Gadsden Mall. The first time I ever remember hearing the name Roy Moore would have been after I started working there at some point. He was pointed out to me, and he would just saunter into Brooks Fashions in the Gadsden Mall, and there was really no reason for him to come into our store because it was all ladies' clothing. As I got further along in my job at Brooks and got into management, then one of us would have to go to Roy Moore's office as assistant DA. We would have to sign a warrant for the arrest of people who wrote bad checks. And we would actually draw straws to see who had to go to his office. Nobody wanted to be behind a closed door with Roy Moore. He was just known as a lech, a big flirt. It makes me angry that people will not believe a woman having the courage to come out and tell something that intimate. If Roy Moore wins this election, it confirms what the rest of the country has thought of Alabama for many years, that we don't know one thing about politics. We are just a backward bunch of hillbillies. It's sad.
Hello there, back at it, Talk 99.5, talk995.com, and the Matt and Donnie Show getting underway. Thank you. We'll talk, obviously, it's a big day for the state of Alabama. The eyes of America and really the world are on Alabama right now. Good morning, Andrea Linden.
Good morning.
Does it bother anyone that Roy Moore is missing?
Is that a problem if he's ahead in the polls? All right, so where are we on the vote? Call us, let us know what you think. The callers are very important. That gives you real-time, interaction, and you know what the listeners are thinking. And it's very important to have that discussion because a lot of this stuff, when it came up with this election, we needed to talk it out. Us talking about our decisions, who we're going to vote for, there's a lot of frustration and anger with people who don't agree with us.
We've got an election tomorrow. It happens 24 hours from now as polls will be opening across Alabama to elect the next United States Senator, at least for the next 2 years, Doug Jones or Roy Moore. No suggestion that any write-in candidacy has any weight. One of the reasons that I've decided not to vote. Neither of those other candidates have earned my vote, and therefore I'll be staying home. We start with Shane in Tuscaloosa. Hello, Shane. How are you?
You are the proverbial dog turd underneath my shoe today. You have been blessed to vote, and you're choosing not to vote. and I just can't respect you for the next couple of days. I'm not voting for Judge Roy Moore per se. I'm voting for the Trump agenda. Because Trump has been fought by Republicans and Democrats.
So you're saying that this Senate seat doesn't really matter in getting the Trump? No, hold on a second. If this Senate seat was the linchpin, if this Senate seat was the one seat that we had to have to get the Trump agenda passed, which is what you just said, that you're voting for the Trump agenda. In that case, why don't we have the Trump agenda? And that has nothing to do with Roy Moore. And by the way, all of this argument is premised on the idea that Roy Moore is going to win anyway.
He is going to win.
And he's going to embarrass the hell out of the state of Alabama for the next 2 years. Watch.
He may.
Watch.
He may very well do so.
Yeah, well, and I'm not going to be a party to that. And when you call and say, my God, Roy Moore, he's playing this all wrong, he's embarrassing us yet again, I'm going to say, yeah, that's why I didn't vote for him.
Then I will come and eat crow in front of you then.
All right, sounds good to me.
Well, welcome. I am begging and urging everybody to get out, call all your friends. We gotta, at some point, we gotta stop looking like idiots to the nation.
Somebody said, well, what are the odds of Doug Jones winning? It's about like getting under 5-inch snowfall in Birmingham the 1st of December. It's time that we put our decency, our state, before political party.
I know one thing. Nobody can come down here and tell folks in Alabama what to do. The cussedness, the grit, the determination. Why do you think the whole world's here? You know why? This about raw power. This is a national election. It is the Trump miracle versus the nullification project. Now that is a big responsibility to have on one's shoulders, but you got it on your shoulders.
Fake news would tell you that we don't care for Jews. So I just want to set the record straight while they're here. One of our attorneys is a Jew. So without going any further, let me introduce to you the next senator from the state of Alabama, Judge Roy
Moore. The Washington Post put out this terrible, disgusting article saying I had done something. They said these women, 2, had not come forward for nearly 40 years, during which I served in 3 public offices in the state. I ran 5 state campaigns, 3 county campaigns in this same county, and never once was this mentioned. Here's the title of this article that was just introduced yesterday. Where's Roy Moore? Because I took approximately 2.5 days to take my wife out of this mess and to let her relax with her son at West Point. The differences between my opponent and me are vast. Abortion, he favors full term. I want to overturn Roe versus Wade because it was unconstitutional when they made it. He believes in transgender rights. In the military, in their bathrooms, and then says they support children. Same-sex marriage. He thinks I'm a bigot. He thinks that because I favor traditional marriage ordained of God, that's the wrong position. The people of Alabama don't believe that. You see the mess we're in. How we've given up our righteousness for a life of indulgent sin. When abortion is no longer called murder, and when sodomy is deemed a right, then good is now called evil, and darkness is now called light. I want America great, but I want America good, and she can't be good until we go back to God. May God bless you, the state of Alabama, and the United States of America. Thank you.
10 hours and 35 minutes. Go get it tomorrow. God bless you.
I wish there was another week. Right now, the polls being what they are, I would still say maybe he's down 2 or 3 points. You can swing that 2 or 3 points just from hard work on election day. I'll be dispatching rides to go pick up voters to go to the polls. That's my specific job. Hey, who's doing live numbers? We've seen too many small victories, and we're starting to see an add up across the state.
You have your wallet?
Yes, I do.
Proud of you.
I intend to vote for Judge Roy Moore. I suspect the judge will win, but it'll be a lot smaller portion than was thought earlier in the election. Yep, parking's gonna be fun, my dear. If Roy Moore wins, it means that the people of Christian faith and various conservatives have their values represented in Washington.
Ron, with you? Random jump in the car? Yeah. If Roy Moore wins, it means Alabama goes back 50 years because we already in the 30s, and the rest of the world goes back 100.
I did a run earlier this morning. The vandalizing and the pulling of our signs just really picked up over the last couple days. Come on, sweetie, come on. You got the front? Yeah, let's go. All right, let me get my hand. Hang on just a minute. Nope. I got to the car. Well, we've done our stuff. If Roy Moore wins, it means that the voters of Alabama have validated the values, the beliefs, and convictions of the majority of the people in this country. I just got so excited about my vote.
It's a telltale sign where America is. How would you allow a pedophile, a real-life pedophile, not only a pedophile, a homophobe, a racist, and you would let him actually sit on the Senate? Do better, America. That's all I can say. This shouldn't even be a choice. It really shouldn't. Just do better.